don't know no nigga like me.
Alright guys, Fula coming to you with another video. Shout out to the whole LGBC. If you like the video, please like it, and if you like the content on the channel that I offer, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Now, I just want to give my thoughts on like what has really transpired with the whole carbonation thing. You know, I know it seemed like I give a lot of energy to carbonation, but the reality is, if you look at my channel, like very little is devoted to that man, you know, and his psychotic nature, and him being a cult leader, him being a demonic force, him being a spawn of Satan, him being Baphomet, him being all of the above that I just named, basically. Because you know he is this way when he pretty much explains himself to you and tells you that you're that way, but in reality all he's doing is just talking about himself. Okay? So with this being said, I want to just say that I won't call it karma or anything like that. I'll just call it, and I know this sounds very crazy. I'm going to sound very, very crazy, but we have a saying in African, you know, in African folklore, where if you mess with a friend, if you mess with God's friend, then God will make war on you. And I think that's what happened. You know, I really believe, really and truly, that's what happened. And it was just a matter of time before that war got underway and went full-fledged. And I mean like the spiritual war. Because the thing is, this idiot, he insulted like Dr. Sabi, who was doing the service of God. He was doing the service of God, basically. And the service of God is to be at service to people, not for people to serve you, like that dumbass Negro would have them do. You know, nah, it doesn't work like that. Point number 2 I want to drive home to is he insulted another person who was in service to God, and that was Neighborhood Nip Hustle. You know, you insulted someone who just was doing the right thing. Okay, sure, he had a street pass, you know what I mean, but it taught him the lessons he needed to know to do the right things, and he was doing that in 100-fold. And you had the nerve to insult him, and even worse, you insulted him when he was dead. So God doesn't look too kindly on that, bro. And so I'm not God. I don't know what he was thinking, but we have a saying, Yafalu Lahum Ma Yasha, which means God does what he pleases. And so with you, he's going to do what he pleases. Because you can't do that. You can't insult people who are actually doing and making differences when the only differences you were making, Master Pilgrim, I'm not going to even call your ass a chief. I'll be shot dead in the street before I call your ass a chief. Okay? What you and your minions were doing was the opposite of God's work. Sending women home as single mothers, telling people to abandon their original family, all for the sake of you. That's not God's work. So you're getting what's coming to you. And the fact that it keeps on happening over and over and over again goes to tell you that something's not right. Because if something was right, and if a message was pure, and if a message was consistent, guess what? It's only going to produce pure and consistent things and a pure and consistent environment. But we haven't seen that with you, homeboy. You can't even stay put. You're always on the move or something like that. You can't even, and then you made up the lie. Oh, I'm lawyered up. I'm lawyered up. I'll never get arrested again, and that's a fact. That's a guarantee. I'll never be in the in that position again. Okay? And to his followers, okay, I've met people from Costa Rica. I have Belizean friends. I have Honduran friends. I have Mexican friends. I have Panamanian friends. I have Nicaraguan friends. Those people are more in tune, quote unquote, with nature than that nigga will ever be. So shouldn't it ring to your head that maybe this nigga is really imbalanced if he keeps on getting kicked out of all these countries where people are really naturally more on in a natural disposition? Shouldn't that ring an alarm to you, to his donors and his followers? Shouldn't it ring an alarm to you that, and I got the receipts for this, okay? I have the receipts and I'm not afraid to show the receipts. But shouldn't it alert you that that nigga is sitting on money, but yet he's asking for donations, and yet those people barely eat, but he can probably give them like a feast, and that he kicks people out for eating too much? Shouldn't that alarm you? Okay? I would be alarmed that this nigga's sitting on money, but he makes you still contribute into a pot when he already has enough money. Another thing I want to say too is this. He was trying so hard, and all his minions, I call them minions. I don't even call them, I'm not going to call them chief of shit, okay? But all his minions were trying to get a woman to stop from leaving the place, okay, because it appears that she has a mind of her own a little bit. And yet, they were all trying to gang up on her, okay? And this is contradictory to what he said, that everybody is free to leave. Well, it seems like that's not the case either. And that woman's husband just took a page right out of your book, because you're a sexual deviant anyway. Okay, talking about you like a woman to feel like she's raped or she's defenseless, and that you like to feel like you can kill a woman, basically. And now you have your followers exhibiting those same behaviors, because she basically admitted she was raped by her husband. You know, and it's like the only reason why you're still, and all the rest of you guys are still on live and still doing stuff like this, it's because nobody's tested your jaw yet. And I guarantee you, if I was there, you know, I would have tested all y'all's jaws, starting with you. And then I would move on to the little switch hitting nigga who left a full baby in Jamaica because he decided that he wanted to be with men anyway. Nigga, if you wanted to be with men, why would you even make a baby with a woman? You dumbass. Okay, women are emotional creatures. Okay? And you really, when a kid's involved, that's even more emotion. And you just straight out are treating it like it's nothing. So I would definitely test your jaw. And the nigga who raped his wife, I would definitely test his jaw. Basically, if I was over there, none of them niggas would be able to talk for at least 5 months, including the head honcho, because I would take my aggression out on him the most. Okay? And the problem is, this is the problem, and I'm going to end it at this, okay? The problem is, no nigga has tested that nigga's jaw yet. The authorities rough him up, but they don't beat him up. That's the problem. If they did that nigga Rodney King style, then I think that nigga's tune would change. But they haven't did that, but they need to do it. You know? That's on my tribe. They need to do it. Unlike them, I'm actually from a tribe. You know, that's the difference between me and them. I'm actually from an African tribe, you know, hence the name Fula Sports. Research Fula, and then you'll find out what that tribe is about. Okay? Unlike them, I actually, as I said, I'm from a tribe, you know. Unlike him, Nipsey was from a tribe too. I mean, he was actually from 2 tribes. I mean, if you want to be technical, he was from an urban tribe, and he was from his dad's tribe, which is Tigray. I think Tigray or Tigrinya. I forgot which one it is. But anytime you insult one of God's friends, this is what's going to happen to you. Okay? He's going to make war with you. And I don't think the war is over, because anywhere they go, it's going to be the same thing over and over again. Because I truly believe God has made war with him. You know, you can't insult someone who is doing good work and you ain't doing shit. You can't do that. It doesn't work like that. And so with that being said, I'm just going to bring one more point home. You know, I made a petition for him not to be in Africa, and I also am gonna put this out there again, is that I'm letting all Echo states know not to let this nigga in. I'm letting every single last one of the ECOWAS states know that this nigga is bad news and he's a threat to national security. Hell, I speak Spanish pretty well. You know, yo hablo español bien, okay? So, upon reading the Panama newspaper, and no, I didn't translate it, they said that he's a security threat. So if they're saying that he's a security threat, then that should be a green light. It's going to be a green light for the African nations to realize that this nigga's not up to any good. And so with that being said, I'm going to let all the ECOWAS states know what's up. And I'm also, when I go, I think the president of Cabo Verde is going to actually be here soon, or the ambassador, one of the ambassadors of Cabo Verde is actually coming to Los Angeles. I'm going to be at the event. I'm going to let him know too. I'm going to show him videos and everything. Okay? I don't want these niggas in Africa or the Caribbean at all. So all my Caribbean friends, please spread the word. Don't let this nigga in Jamaica. Don't let this nigga in Dominica. Don't let this nigga in Guyana. Don't let this nigga anywhere. Okay? Look, I'm going to leave it at this and then I'm going to stop the video. If this nigga's message was sincere, he wouldn't have to do it anywhere. He could do the message in the United States if it was sincere and if it was a pure message. He wouldn't have to do it in all these different countries with all this different jurisdictions and stuff like that. If the message was sincere, if the message was pure, he wouldn't have to do it in all these other places. So if you're Dominican, meaning from Dominica, if you're from Dominican Republic, if you're from Puerto Rico, if you're from Jamaica, Barbados, Grenada, Turks and Caicos, Antigua, Guyana, St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago, any of these places, if even African, if you can help your fellow African brother, keep this nigga out of there. If you're Ghanaian, if you're Nigerian, if you're Cameroonian, any African nationality, let's keep this nigga out of our shit, okay? This nigga is not worthy of our soil. He's not worthy of Caribbean soil either. So with that being said, these are just my thoughts. I don't think it's karma. I think it's the fact that nigga talked down on two of God's friends, and God makes war on those who talk down on his servants. And also God makes war on people who are blatantly lying about being his servant and being a Messiah when really he's the Antichrist. And that's all I got for now, guys. Fula signing out. And John. One more thing I want to add to this video too. If you're authority, if you have connections to authorities in these different countries, also let the authorities know that this nigga holds people hostage as well. That he holds people against their will. When they actually want to go back, he gets his minions to interrogate them and try to mentally break them down, so he feels like, so the person who wants to go back feels like that they don't have anything to go back to. Okay? Let them know that. Also let them know that he will use another person to hold that person hostage. Okay? That person's signature basically will give them permission to leave and go about their way, go on their way. But he will tell that person not to sign for them to leave. So he says that people are free to come and go as they please. That's a damn lie. Okay, especially if you have money. He's not going to let you go that easy, because he doesn't like to use his own money, although he has money. He'd rather eat off of you than not eat off of the work of his own hands, or the lack thereof, basically, because the nigga doesn't work. Nigga doesn't even own anything. Nigga does not own any kind of industry or any kind of thing that could generate or circulate wealth or build some assets that would allow people to actually go to a place and live in nature. I swear to God that if it was so important for people to go into and live in nature or whatever the case may be, then you would invest in, this is what you would do. You would invest in a piece of land, then you would make that land into a resort by using all sorts of biodegradable things from the land, and you would go about it that way, okay? That's how it would go, right? They have that in a place in Europe. I forgot a place in Europe, but they have a place that is just nothing but ice. It's made up of ice only, okay? It's like an ice hotel. So if that's your thing, they have that, okay? But this nigga won't do that because that was never his intention. It was never his intention at all. It was just for people to be, his intention was always and always will be for people to be yes men to him and to cater to him only. And I don't know why people find it in their mind who are stupid enough to do that, to cater to a bitch ass nigga like him. And yeah, I hope he sees the video. As a matter of fact, share this video with all his members. Share it with all of them. But they don't want no parts of me anyway, because they know what time it is with me. They know they can't like twist my brain around or make me out to be like, hey, you know what? You're right. That's real talk. Nah, it doesn't work with me. I'm an old school nigga in a young body. And, you know, and I'm a nigga who's cultured, unlike them. You know, that's the problem. You would think, listen, you would think that, you know, by them going to these different places, Panama, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Belize, Mexico, okay, Honduras, you would think by going to all these places that these niggas would be cultured by now. But they're not. They're the same. Stagnant, doing the same things. With no culture. With not even knowing the language. Needing translators and stuff. And you've been to damn near most of all of Latin, Spanish-speaking America, Central America, and you still don't know Spanish? Wow. Really, nigga? That should tell would-be members something right there. Okay? Anytime a nigga says something like, I'm smarter than you, you don't need to be around that nigga. Okay? You don't. Because a real smart nigga is not going to say that they're smarter than you. They're going to show it. They're going to actually demonstrate it by how they do things. So don't be around people like that, man. That's all I'm going to say. To would-be Carbonation members, or would-be anything that is like that. Man, think for yourself, okay? Think for yourself and don't belittle yourself or look at yourself with such a low value. You will have to really look at yourself you will have to think very low of yourself to want to do something like that or be involved in something like that. Okay, yeah, life is tough. Life in quote unquote Babylon is not a walk in the park. But God, the real God, the Most High, my dialect, we call him Gino, he wouldn't put you somewhere where you couldn't handle it. Doesn't want you to run away. Okay? If you decide you want to run away, he wants you to run away with some assets, with some resource, with the skill, with the trade that you can bring to the place that you're going to. That's how it should work. It shouldn't work like you being under the tutelage of a Google researcher. I can't even call him a researcher of a Google browser. He's not even a researcher. He's a browser. So that's what I'm saying, man. Have some esteem for yourself, man. For real. Really self-reflect. Look inside of yourself and realize that the ability to do great things is in you. It's hard, yeah. But it's still possible without being under a stupid ass's spells. That's just it. And I hate to bring this point up again, but I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to bring it up. Okay? Now, if you see me, if you see my face or whatever the case may be, I get mistaken for everything, okay? A Brazilian woman thought I was a Brazilian. I got mistaken for Dominican. I've been mistaken for Puerto Rican. Of course, I was mistaken for Cuban, you know. I've been mistaken for a number of things, okay? So, when this African who was born, African descendant, I don't like to call him I don't like to say African American because, you know, to be honest, like, I'm sorry to say it, but, I mean, can we really say that they have been assimilated into America the way that, quote unquote, other Americans have? That's another video for itself, though, you know. We already know that right now that, you know, that America itself is just a settler colony. You know, that's pretty much what it is. It's just a colony it's a colony. You know? Me and my Nigerian friend were talking about it. That it's pretty much like a no man's land, basically. That nobody has rights to ownership of this land, save the Native Americans and the Spaniards who came before. Now, back to, let me not get sidetracked. But one African descended from America, or one African descended American, okay? He asked me, like, he's like, yo, Fula, why don't y'all Africans really mess with, like, us that much? And I gave him layers. I said, well, one, the media has a lot of misinformation, and some of us believe it and run with it and go with it. I said, number two, the cultural differences are not taught in school, so unfortunately, we get ridiculed by let's just say by a lot of people, and Africans descended in America are some of those people that we get ridiculed by. So that's why I say, we just stay to ourselves, try to keep things close knit. Then I showed them a picture of Eligio, brother pro-life, and the light thereof, but mostly Eligio. And I showed them a couple of videos of Eligio. And I said, yeah, this is the reason why. This is one of the other reasons why. And so, and I'm like, and I told people, like, I told them, so if an African who is like new here, or, whatever the case may be, has different culture and different value system, see something like that, they're automatically gonna assume that all of you guys are like that, and I say I don't condone them for doing that, I don't condone it, but if this is shown so much, then they're gonna think it's like normal behavior, unfortunately, and they're gonna think being hyper aggressive is a characteristic, But anyhow, man, I didn't mean to go on that long, but I just had to get this across, man. I just had to really sit back and reflect on this whole situation, and I'm gonna stick with my point. Again, if you decide you want to make war on one of God's friends, God will make war on you. And so you made war, and even if it's a war of words, you still decided to make war by your words, and guess what? You're being dealt with right now. And guess what? The same thing will happen again. But anyhow, man, that's all I got for now. Fula signing out. Leave your thoughts in your comments. Enjoy.